So I've been requested to make a video about how to drive on the freeway without killing yourself, so here it goes. Right now I'm on an on-ramp, and these ramps are really cool. This is the one place on the road it's legal and also mandatory to floor it. So you just got to get up to 65. It's very dangerous to try to get on the freeway going like 40. Some people do that and it causes a lot of chaos. So now that I'm on the ramp, I've checked my blind spot thoroughly and my mirrors to make sure I'm not cutting off anyone. And you get up and get over into the lane before it's too late. This gore on the right, this little triangle area, it's a pretty substantial fine if you wait too long and you try to merge over that gore area. So if for some reason you're not able to merge onto the freeway, don't just cut across the gore and panic and fling yourself into traffic. Just wait a second. Just go straight to the next light, go straight again at the light, and it'll put you on another on-ramp. You have a better chance to accelerate. And one thing that we'll talk about on the freeway for safety is your space cushion. Keeping your personal space to yourself is your best friend on the freeway. There is, if you look at the wall on the right, a few skid marks, and you can see skid marks going across the ground, and you can see tire marks up the wall and into the poles and damage and car parts. I'm going to go ahead and say all of those could have been prevented by just not getting too close to each other and not going too fast. It's very simple out here. It's not really hard to drive on the freeway. It's actually less dangerous than driving in town because there's no intersections out here. Yes, we're going like 20% faster than in the city, but the amount of intersections is like way less. There is one intersection coming up. This is a junction to another freeway. This is where you're going to see a lot of wacky last-minute lane changes and bad driving. So, a couple of quick points about the freeway. There's an area on the right between the end of the pavement and the white line and the wall right there on the right. This is called the shoulder. I like to stay in the right lane on the freeway. Yes, it's going to take me maybe 1 minute longer to get somewhere really far away, but for that extra time, you get this safety area. You get this big, giant shoulder. So if something goes wrong and the bumper falls off a car in front of you or a refrigerator falls out onto the freeway, which does happen, ladders, tires, all kinds of furniture and stuff will fall out on the road. If you have that shoulder, all you got to do is don't panic. Never jerk the wheel, first of all, but slow yourself down. Just hit the brakes, get down to like 45, then let off the brakes and go to the right onto that shoulder. Same thing if you get a flat tire. Don't hit your brakes real hard when you have a flat tire because that can cause problems, but slow yourself down by coasting into that right lane and then hit your hazard lights. You can see on the ground and on the wall a lot of skid marks here from people getting a little too excited, getting a little carried away with the speed. But yeah, so now I'm getting onto a different freeway. There's a gore area here where I have to merge, so I need to look at my mirrors and hit my blinker and check my blind spot. Now I can get all the way over. Got to wait in one lane for a second, and you can go into the next one after you're sure it's still clear. And the goal again when I'm about to merge onto this freeway, the 101, is to get up to speed effectively, to match the speed of the cars on the road. So get up to 65. Do not try to merge at less than 65. That's dangerous. So now that I have the little gore area ending up here, I can check blind spot, merge once again into the freeway. This other lane on the right is an exit-only lane for a different street coming up. So normally I would stay in the right, but here I'm just going to stay in this lane. Now, if you choose to ride in the middle or left lane on the freeway, in some states that is illegal. For example, in Texas, it's illegal to not be in the right lane unless you're passing someone, which I think is a good thing, especially out here because we don't have any laws like that. So even semi-trucks sometimes will be driving in the carpool lane way slower than the flow of traffic. Quite often they'll be in the middle lane slower than the flow of traffic, which is very dangerous. I don't know why they do that. Maybe so it's not as inconvenient for them when people merge, but it puts everyone else in a lot of danger. So that's just an unfortunate fact about driving here is you'll see big trucks and slow vehicles in the left lane, which is dangerous everywhere, but it's only illegal in some states. You can get in trouble in Arizona for going too slow in the left lane, but that's pretty rare. This is not one of those states that really targets those drivers. But just remember, the further right you are, the slower you should be going on the freeway. The further left you are, the more you're expected to be speeding. Now, legally, all the lanes are 65, but culturally out here, the right lane is 65, the middle lane is 70, the left lane is 75, and the carpool lane is, plus, whatever. So you can see on the right here, this stereotypical BMW driver is tailgating a bus in the right lane. I don't know why people do that. That's a lose-lose. If you ever hit the back of another person's car, you are 100% liable for that financially. So it's just, unfortunately, narcissistic behavior. It would have been much less dangerous, and it would have been more legal if they would have just passed me on the left instead of making a pass on the right to tailgate a bus and then cut me off. But hey, you can't make everybody want to be safe or smart. You don't have to be smart to get a driver's license. You don't have to pass a background check or a psychiatric evaluation to make sure that you're okay to drive these cars. All you have to do is take an eye test and fill out a little test on the computer, and then you can drive these missiles around with everybody else. So yeah, we have some people that don't really deserve a driving license that get it because the state driver license test, if you've seen in my other videos where I do the how to pass the Glendale or Avondale or Scottsdale road tests, they're very easy. They're just like 3 right turns and that's it, a couple of blocks. That's the only thing the state really tests for. So a lot of people don't know how to drive on the freeway. Grown adults that have been driving for decades can't do it. The main principles of driving on the freeway are the same as driving in town. Don't go too fast, don't get too close to people, and look around. Look in your mirrors a lot. You're going to see that wacko guy like swerving out of the lanes and flashing his brights and flipping everybody off. You're going to see that guy coming if you're looking at your mirrors enough. Now, I don't mean stare at your mirrors, but I mean check them once every 5 or 10 seconds, briefly for like 1 second. Get a good idea of your surroundings. Look far ahead of you. I mean, way up there, like where the cars are disappearing into the mirage. That's where you want to be looking a lot because you'll see if there's something in the road or something going on up there or a car crash, construction, something you need to prepare for in advance. And then don't get too close to people. You notice during this video, I never tailgate people. I never allow myself to get close to people. Another good thing to do on the freeway is to watch people merging. This guy is doing a bad job of getting up to speed. I'm now having to slow down to 50 to let him in front of me. This is what causes all of the traffic jams that you see during rush hour, is just slow merging. Now, if they're not getting on the freeway, what they should have done is put their right blinker on so it doesn't confuse the traffic on the freeway, because I was just trying to be nice and let someone in. Every time I get up on an on-ramp and I'm not actually merging, I'm just exiting at the next one, I just hit my right blinker. You won't find that in your permit handbook or anything. It's just something nice to do because, honestly, there's not enough teamwork out here. It's just kind of everybody else just like, gimme, gimme, gimme. And that's why you get a lot of this chaos. And if you look at the skid marks on the ground, that's why you see that stuff. And if people would just be a little more observant and look around a little more, we'd have a lot less crashes. And if people just sort of emphasized cooperation and being part of the traffic versus trying to rule the traffic, it would be a lot better. So I'm going to exit the freeway now. I have my right blinker on. I'm going to keep the same speed here after I've verified there's no one next to me and I'm not going to cut anyone off. I'm moving into this right lane still at the same speed. And I don't usually like to slow down here until just at the end, because on this freeway, on the 101 on the north side, there's a big wall on the right, and the other side of that road is a road called Beardsley. Now you can see they have a yield sign that says yield to ramp traffic. No one in the city knows what a yield sign means. So if you have a speed advantage, now I'm barely just now starting to slow down. If you keep your speed up, you'll have a speed advantage over these people. That road back there that we just merged with was 45. So if you're still going 60 plus, you'll be able to get out of their way when they don't yield to you. Now I'm making my full stop because I'm turning right on red, and I'm pulling up to the lateral curb line, and after I'm sure it's clear, I'm going. Now again, I'm going through what looks like it'll be a green light when I get up there, but what I want to do first is look to the left, look to the right. If I need to, I'll slow down, but you make sure that you see that this intersection doesn't have anyone about to run a red light or come through and hit you. Also, I'm going to slow down a bit here because this Dodge Ram's nose is right up on the lateral curb line, and if they start moving forwards and hit me, it's half my fault. So if you slow yourself down, you'll be able to stop that from happening if it does. And believe me, like once a week or once a month at least, at a minimum, that happens to me. Someone will just pop out right in front of me at the most ridiculous time. So here we are stopping at a red light. Again, leaving lots of room. I can see up there across the street there's someone on a bicycle, and there's also oncoming traffic coming through. But I'm going to look to my left at this intersection and to the right for red light runners. And I don't see anything. So now I know it's safe to continue through. So here I'm waiting to get onto the freeway at the 67th Avenue North access to the 101. And there are 2 lanes that turn together. There's the right of the two, which is going to be the outside lane, and there's a left that's the inside lane. When you're driving in the city, it's safer to take this outside lane around left turns. But one of the things I like to do on the freeway when I'm getting on is to take the inside lane, because it's one less lane change you have to do on the on-ramp. So when you turn left at the next light, you make your left turn, then you have to speed up on that on-ramp to get on the freeway. So that's what I'm going to be doing now. So the light just turned green. We don't turn left at the first light. This is for the off-ramp traffic. As you can see on the left, everyone over there is getting off the freeway. So we go straight up here at this little waiting zone. Wait for our green arrow up there to turn. But you do have to be very careful of the people in the outside lane, such as this van. So many people just cut right over that line, halfway or even all the way into your lane while you're turning. So you really have to watch out for these people. Get ready to hit your brakes if they don't know how to make a correct turn. So now, this is where you got to get up some speed, but now this is worst case scenario. We're getting on the freeway and the guy in front of me is just taking his time. He's just going super slow. We got to get up faster or we're going to cause an accident on the freeway. So I'm keeping a safe distance while still trying to manage my speed so that I can book it at the end and get up a little bit faster, which is kind of a nuanced skill to do. But there, I'm able to get up 65 right now and merge over. So that is a very good example in front of me of what not to do when you're getting on the freeway. Don't take your sweet time, go up to 40, wait till almost the end of the on-ramp to get on the freeway. That kind of stuff will cause a traffic jam. The goal on that on-ramp is to quickly build up speed and get up to speed before you get on the freeway. It's actually counterintuitive because your brain is like, whoa, we're not supposed to speed, but actually that one place on the road, they build that ramp just so you can build up speed. There's a time and place for everything, obviously. It's right in front of your house in a neighborhood is not the time and place to build up speed. But on the on-ramp, yes, that's exactly what it's for. So I can see someone's getting on here. I'm going to move over a little bit. I could have just slowed down, sure, but there was space next to me. So now I enable that person to merge easily and they don't freak out and panic and cause a crash, because believe it or not, if people are getting on the freeway and they see you in the way, they'll either floor it and risk everyone's life trying to go like 80 and merge over the gore area at the very end, or they'll just slam on the brakes and cause a further traffic jam behind you. So it's a cooperative effort. If you work together and look out for people getting on the freeway and try to help them out, as well as making sure that you are responsible for your speed and your space cushion, it'll always be painless getting on the freeway. So now there's someone going under the speed limit in the middle lane on the freeway, so I'm going to go ahead and pass them. On the left only, it's illegal to pass on the right. And then I look in my center mirror, and when I can see that truck's headlights in the middle mirror, that means I'm far enough ahead of them that I can move back. You never want to just snap right back in front of people because A, it's dangerous, and B, it's rude. So I need to get back to the right lane because my exit's coming up, and this guy's going under the speed limit here, so I'm just going to leave my blinker on, but I'm going to pass this driver. Because I don't like being part of slow-moving traffic on the freeway. That's not really a good thing to be. It's obviously dangerous to go too fast, but there's a fine line between keeping a, moderate speed and then just being a hazard. So just make sure you're not a hazard on the freeway. You won't have to worry about any of the drama and any of the stress that's associated with freeways. And of course, I'm always keeping a space cushion. The shortcut that I use is if I can read the license plate of the car in front of me, I'm way too close to that car. Your reaction time on the freeway is drastically reduced because of the speed that you're traveling at. Tailgating is one of the dumbest things that you can do, even in the city, but especially on the freeway. Don't do that. You'll see all kinds of rear-end pileups on the freeway at rush hour because people are too close together and going too fast, and then something goes wrong. But if you always keep your space, you don't have to worry about it. So that's kind of a nice common sense basic principle of safe driving on the freeway. Just don't get too fast, don't get too close together, and make sure you're looking around. You can see the people in the middle lane that are trying to do like 90 miles an hour because they have to take their exit and they didn't plan ahead and get in the right lane. I got in the correct lane miles ago like I should have, and that way I'm already prepared. Now my merge is drama-free and no one's freaking out. I'm not cutting anyone off and not making any new enemies on the road. So always plan ahead. Now we're going to a transition from the 101 to the I-17 South. So you're going to see a yellow speed limit sign on these ramps most of the time. Now, the yellow speed limit sign is not a legal requirement. It's called a speed advisory. And up here you're going to see a yellow speed limit sign, and this one says ramp 45. Do not go 45 on that ramp unless you're driving a garbage truck or an oil tanker or a big semi-truck. That's what those yellow signs are really for. They're for big vehicles and trucks to tell them to chill out around the corner. If you don't go over the white speed limit sign, which is 65, you're still well within the law and well within your vehicle's ability to handle these corners. Now, I don't ever recommend completely ignoring the yellow speed limit signs, but in general, if you do 10 over the yellow sign, then you'll be fine and you won't be going too fast so that you cause a danger or it's hard to handle the corner. So you can either go the speed on the yellow speed limit sign, and then you'll find out like, wow, I feel really slow going around this corner like that and people are getting angry. Or just, find a balance, 5 or 10 over the yellow sign. It'll be a little bit less in the way of other drivers, and then you'll be fine and it'll be smooth. Now, I've already merged onto the I-17. I had to speed up in front of that white Kia Soul that was running out of lane and not trying to merge, and I can see in my mirror they're doing that again. They're not looking at the signs at all on the road. And sometimes it is appropriate to slow down and let people in front of you, or sometimes it is appropriate to speed up and let someone get in behind you. If they're not paying attention to the road and you have to make some kind of maneuver, make sure you know your surroundings and go ahead and speed up. Sometimes it is appropriate. Just don't go obviously well above the legal speed limit. Like, don't do that, because there might be a cop watching you at that very moment, and that would look really bad, and that'd be a good way to get a ticket. So I can see there's people trying to merge, so I'm going to move over because these people are not getting up to speed. And that is, it's a recurring theme. It's 10:30 on a Tuesday, and you can see a lot of people well outside of rush hour just taking their sweet time trying to get on the freeway. Not recommended to do that. Make sure you just, if you got a slow car, pound on that gas pedal, get that car up to 65. If you got a fast car, don't pound on the gas pedal because you'll do a burnout and that's illegal. But, whatever your vehicle's balance is, as quickly as possible, get up to 65 and try to merge with the traffic. It'll always be the easiest if you're going the same speed. So I'm going to go ahead and pass this truck. This is one of the biggest annoyances that you're going to see driving on the freeways in Arizona. In California and Texas and many other states, what that trucker is doing is illegal. It is dangerous what that trucker is doing, being slower than the flow of traffic, going under the speed limit in the middle lane. During all this traffic, that's a bad idea. I'm guessing that they do this for their convenience, so they don't have to move out of the way when people are trying to merge on the freeway. And there are a lot of on-ramps on this freeway, so it does make sense. However, the trade-off is that no one can see as well around these big, giant, slow-moving vehicles, and they force people to illegally pass them on the right when they're going slow in the middle or left lane. And so if you're not going to pass the truck, if you don't want to have to go 75 miles an hour like the left lane usually is doing, then just make sure you keep a long distance between you and a semi-truck. And always stay far away from semis. Some of the main reasons why is that they have a lot more mass than a normal car, so they take a lot longer to stop. Like, you can slam on the brakes on the freeway, stop within about 150 feet for almost every car, or a lot less for newer cars. Now, if a semi-truck slams on the brakes, they're not stopping for hundreds and hundreds and sometimes 1,000 feet or more. They just, like a train, they just skid forever. So don't get in front of a semi-truck. Don't let yourself get tailgated by a semi-truck. They're not supposed to do that, but not all truckers are angels either. So if you're getting tailgated by a semi-truck, move out of your lane as quickly as possible, because if you have to slam on your brakes, that truck is going to run you over and it's going to crush you like a bug. I don't like to be on the side of a truck like I am now. I'm pretty much in the guy's blind spot, so I'm going to quickly accelerate within the speed limits, of course, past the truck. That way he can see me better, I can get away from that truck better, and also don't tailgate a semi-truck. They have these special bumpers called underride guards that hang down off the bottom. They have a red and white reflective tape on them. Those bumpers are often faulty and will not prevent a full-size vehicle from going underneath the semi-truck and causing serious or fatal injuries to the drivers of the cars. So, in general, stay away from semi-trucks. they are really good drivers. They're professional drivers. They get fired if they crash, but still, they're not perfect. And in Arizona, there are way less restrictions on what semi-trucks can do out here, so you'll see them in the left lane, the carpool lane, all over the road, doing all kinds of crazy, dangerous stuff, so just keep your distance and stay away. Another thing to watch out for on the freeway is directly in front of me, this truck with a bunch of loose debris and carpet rolls not strapped down, so I am moving out of this lane to get away from the backwash of whatever falls out of this thing, because it does happen a lot. Like almost on a daily basis, you'll see ladders, pieces of furniture, tools, pool skimmers, Home Depot buckets, all kinds of stuff falls out of these pickup trucks when these guys are in a hurry to get from one job to the other. They just throw everything in the truck and get on the freeway, and it's not like they're going to stop if something falls out of their truck and come pay for your car. They're not even going to know it fell out most of the time, and they're definitely not going to come pay for any damage that happened to your car. It's your responsibility to look out and keep a safe space cushion so that you're protected in that kind of event. So any large vehicles or pickup trucks with loose items in the back that are clearly visible, stay far away from those, because you are liable if you run into that stuff. So I am getting off at the next exit. I'm going to go ahead and move on over to the right in advance. And I'm keeping my same speed here. I'm looking at my blind spot, making sure everything's clear. So I like to stay going the speed limit, just like I said before. On the exits, I like to stay going the same speed all the way almost until the end. This guy's coming over into my lane a little bit on the left. I don't know why he's playing on his phone, so he's going to move over a little bit around them. That's another thing that you got to watch out for. Like, a lot of these people are just playing on Facebook and playing on Snapchat while they're supposed to be driving. So I have my blinker on. There's a merge here. So I'm looking at that little road, and no one's on it. So 2 lanes I can choose from to turn right. I can see the person in the outside lane's not turning though, so I'm going to take the inside lane so I can do a turn on red. And you got to be careful getting off these freeways. Sometimes they say no turn on red at these lights. So look around really good, make sure you don't see a sign that says no red on red. A lot of them have that. Up there, they're trying to get a better look. And now when they're about to take off, I can start my right turn sequence. I'm going to make my stop at the line. Now, I'm going to start looking at the crosswalk, get up to the lateral curb line, and yes, I have to yield for some traffic. So after they're out of the way, then I can go, and I keep checking the crosswalk. Sometimes people will come out and start walking up here. Even when they have a don't walk sign, people do break laws out here. Sometimes you have to wait a while, it's okay. And of course, I'm going to wait for the first 2 lanes next to me to be open before I go, because I don't want someone changing lanes at an intersection and hitting me. That's always a possibility. And once I turn into the inside lane, I can then start making lane changes to get over. So I had to hit record when I went by this. Oh my goodness. Wow, guess I can't make a left turn here.